Okay, so from where you are, I want you to just lie down on the ground and just allow your whole body to exhale into the earth. Allow yourself to feel that on every exhale, you're just letting your body come more and more in contact with the earth. Without any effort or strain. And as you exhale, I want you to just allow your exhale to extend gradually. Maybe you need to take a few breaths, just relaxing. And when you feel ready, just allow your exhale to extend by a second or two. And just notice that in that extension of the exhale, there is a deepening of the inhale. On your next inhale, I want you to feel the connection from the feet up through the hips to the shoulders and into the head. And as you exhale, just feel your whole body dropping into the earth. So if you were lying on soft grass, that grass would be flattened by the weight of your body. And just feel your body dropping deeper down. And again, once more, breathing up through the feet to the back of the head. Feeling all of the surface area of the body as it meets the floor. And as you exhale, just dropping the body down into the ground. And very slowly, I want you to just bring your awareness to your shoulder blades. I want you to feel the two shoulder blades against the floor. Notice if one side is lifted, more forward or back. And then I want you to notice the lower back, pelvis. Just notice if the weight feels more to one side of your waist than the other. If the arch in your spine is more exaggerated on one side. And just be curious. How is my body today? And not judging whatever your experience is, just allowing it to be how it is. And just noticing, so we can come back to this later and see how things may have changed. And very slowly in your own time, just bring your feet to standing. So letting one leg roll out to the side and bringing the foot to stand. And then the other leg roll out to the side and bring your foot to stand. And today's class we're focusing on the shoulders, the shoulder blades, the clavicle and the sternum, the chest area. And we're just going to bring a lot more space into the upper torso. So what you're going to do is you're going to bring your two hands together and interlace your fingers. And with your fingers interlaced, I want you to just have them slightly above your head, so they might be in front of your chin if you're lying down, depending what's comfortable for you. So where is good for you. And I want you to bring your elbows a little close together so that it's like they may touch or they're almost touching. And then from where you are, just lift your hands slightly away from your head so that they're not like resting on your forehead exactly, it's just slightly above. And from there, I want you to very slowly begin to open the elbows out to the side. And then slowly bring the elbows back together. And throughout our lesson today, we're going to keep the heel of the hands connected. So the hands are fully connected and it's just from below the wrist to the elbow that is separating and coming together. So it moves away, the elbows lead, the lower arm moves apart, and then slowly everything comes back together. And one more time. And just feel how the muscles of the back of the body are engaging, or your shoulder blades. maybe you can do a little less and keep it a little softer. Maybe you're noticing movement in your clavicle and the pectoral muscles, your sternum. And then just slowly bring your hands to rest somewhere in your body. You can keep your fingers interlaced if you want, and just allow yourself a few breaths, just breathing. And just letting your awareness fill into the back of the body. And from where you are now, I want you to roll onto your right side if that's comfortable for you. So just roll onto your right side so your knees will be bent up and your elbows will be together and your wrists will be slightly in front of your eyes at this point when you're lying on your side. And as you lie on your side, your knees are stacked on top of each other. And we're going to do a similar movement, and we have on our right side, we have our right arm resting against the ground. And now we're just going to slowly lift the left elbow away from the right elbow, slowly up, and very slowly bringing it down. So moving slow, and just feeling all the movement through your entire system, how everything connects into the whole. And if there's any pain, tension, or tightness, just reducing your movement, just staying where it's easy and comfortable for you. And all the while, as I said before, keep the heel of the hands connected. So continuously there's like this suction between the palms and the fingers are interlaced. And your last one, just rest, relax on your side, and just notice what is your awareness bringing to you in the back of the body, the spine, the front of the chest. Just be curious. And on your exhale, again, just remembering to drop down, lengthen your breath, and just let any tension or stress melt away. And then slowly in your own time, I want you to explore this once more, and as you lift the left arm away from the ground, I want you to consider how would it be to roll slightly backwards away from your elbows with the rest of your body, as if so your head has been looking towards your palms. How would it be for as you lift the elbow, for you to move your head with your elbow as if it was going to look up towards your ceiling, and just exploring that. If that feels impossible or confusing, no need to do it. But just how would it be to slightly roll away from your arms and just feel the chest slightly opening as you lift that elbow, and doing your last one really slow, and then letting that go, softening through the body, resting for a moment, and just allowing that curiosity to stay with you. And gradually and slowly, you're going to roll back onto your back and roll onto your other side. So this time we'll be coming onto our left side. And when you roll onto your left side, again, just let the lower arm rest, and the top arm is just resting against it for the time being. And just for the sake of working with both sides, swap the interlace of your fingers so you're of a different thumb in front, just for your own curiosity. So we want to balance the side that's not habitual as well. Now get your heels of your hands close in contact so that they're glued together. And then notice, do you want to move on the inhale or the exhale, and slowly, slowly lift the top elbow away and slowly down. And as much as possible, your eyes are closed and you're feeling into what is the inner experience of this movement in my body. And just being curious. And just noticing how this side may be different to the first side. And then on your next one, as you lift the top elbow, explore this idea of rolling slightly away from the elbows, as if your head was turning from the side slightly upwards towards your ceiling. And just explore that range of motion. And remember, the heels of the hands, the palms, are so glued together, so you can only go to a certain point. So try not to push or aim for something. You're just exploring, how is it to bring some rotation to my movement now? Lovely. And then bring yourself slowly back to center when you feel ready. And roll back onto your back and keep your knees bent up. Or if you need a moment to have them long, you can do that and bend them up. And wherever you are, just have a deep breath. Noticing the connection from the heels to the hips, to the shoulders, to the back of the head. And exhale, let everything go. And then bending up the legs again if they're long, and bring the hands interlaced above your head. And it depends on your body, what feels good today. Have your elbows slightly in contact if that feels good, or if that doesn't feel good and it creates tension in the back of your shoulder blades, then don't do it. And for our next movement, you're going to very slowly move the hands from being centered above you to going upwards. So upwards so that your elbows perhaps are in front of your eye line, and then slide the arms back to where you started. So you're just going on an upward motion as if you're going up above your head towards your forehead, and then slowly bringing it down. And it may be that as you go upwards, it feels like a bit of an arc. So it's like your hands are coming above your head to your forehead or the crown of your head, and then coming back to where you began. So just slowly exploring that movement. And the next time you do it, explore, how does the feet, the hips become involved in this movement? How can the rest of your body support your movement? Thinking of your spine, is there any movement through the pelvis as you do this? Is there a sensation of wanting to arch in one moment or flatten? Just noticing. And the next time that you go upwards, as you go downwards, go a little lower. So it's like your elbows are going lower towards your belly or the base of your ribs, and then going all the way up. So now you're going all the way up and as low down as feels good for you. So we're bringing in the two different directions. And as you do this, you may feel that the spine may be more inclined to be involved. And to begin, don't force it, just be curious, just see what's working for you. And then as you exhale next time, just slowly let your hands come down into your chest, separate your hands and relax your arms out to your side, and just whatever way feels good for you, just have a few breaths. Your legs can be long or bent, and just rest, relax. Every exhale, releasing deeper into the floor. And then on your next inhale, slowly bending up your legs again, feet to the floor. And then interlace your fingers, whatever way you want to try, whether it's your first instinct or try your second, whatever feels good. And now we're going to come and do our beginning move again and just explore that. So just see if anything has changed. Slowly let your elbows go out to the side from wherever you are. Keep the heels of the hands glued together, and then slowly bring the elbows in together. So slowly letting the elbows go out and slowly letting them come together, keeping the heels of the hands glued together. Just notice how your shoulders move, your shoulder blades, your clavicle, your whole shoulder girdle is involved in this movement. Just notice. And just notice if it's any easier for you than when you began. And just let that go for a moment then. And what you're going to do next is you're going to bring the elbows as close together as feels comfortable, and the hands are slightly above your chin or your head, wherever feels nice for you. And I think of this as a cocktail. You know, if you're making a cocktail and you see the guy take it over his shoulder and it gives it a shake, it's the same idea. So you're going to slowly bring your hands to one side, so let's say towards your right ear, and just bring the hands and keep the elbows as close together as feels comfortable, and then bring the hands back into your neutral position, your starting point. And then bring them through the center, and then bring them back to the right side. So we're going to go, so you have to kind of bring the hands to the side, to wherever feels good, and then back to center. And again, just notice what is happening in this movement. And the next time that you bring your hands to that side, see if you can just leave your hands there for a moment, that they're kind of as if they're coming up to your ear. And with your hands left on this side, I want you to just slowly, the top elbow, which would be your left, is just going to move away and towards the right. So just like we did when we were lying on our side, similar movement away and towards. And if your lower elbow isn't on the floor, you can also let that elbow move away and towards. And just feel how it is to be doing this opening and closing position with your hands to the side, to the right side. And then let the lower elbow relax and just bring your focus back to the top elbow. And this time, as you bring the elbow, the top elbow, left elbow towards your right, I want you to just explore how can the rest of your body support you to move closer towards the right elbow. So how can in this position with the hands at the right ear or to the side as much as possible, how can your left elbow come to touch your right elbow? And how does the rest of your body support you? So you can roll through the torso to turn the torso and then roll back for the elbow to come back to its beginning position. So you may be rolling across the back of your back slightly and then rolling back to your beginning position. So just explore this, notice all these new little muscles you may be feeling. And then one last one, see how your feet may support the movement. As you roll towards the elbow, does your spine turn, rotate? And then as you move back, does your head move up more towards the ceiling? And then on your next one, roll back into your center position. So with your hands, bring your hands back to the center and just feel yourself back aligned in the center. You may like to change the interlace of your fingers at this point. And let's bring the hand from the center to the left side. So when you feel like it, bring your hands upwards above your face and then to the left side. And once your hands are on the left side, just going from the left ear, again this cocktail idea, bringing the hands to the left and then bringing them back to center. And when we're lying on the floor, we're really aware of all the movement that's happening through the shoulder blades that we mightn't notice when we're sitting. Nice and slow, one more. And see how it is if you were to bring the elbows a little closer together as you do this movement. What are you noticing? And if it's tight or tedious for you, just release that idea and let the elbows be wherever is comfortable. And the next time you come to bring your hands to the left ear and just resting your lower arm there, you're just going to fan the upper elbow, now the right elbow, upwards and downwards. Keep the palms glued together. Yeah, that's always important in this lesson. And then bring the top elbow down to touch your left elbow. So right elbow is coming up and left is coming down. And then once you have the idea of the upper elbow, you may like to move the lower elbow away as well and together, whatever feels good for you. I kind of think of a wind bellow, people would have used to encourage a fire to grow bigger. So this idea of moving something away and towards. And then let the lower arm rest and just let the top elbow move again. And this time, if you wish, you can allow that rolling motion that we did on the first side. So it's like you're rolling to help that elbow touch down closer and then rolling back up away. So as you do it, the whole time your hand is at your left ear or as close to, and you're just exploring this movement and letting that go. One last one. Lovely. Trying to use as much of your body in that movement. Being curious. Noticing how the grip is with the different interlace as well. And then allow yourself to come back to center. And then rest whatever way is comfortable for you. Let your hands go or bring them on your body, out to the side. Whatever feels good. Have a rest. And just notice whatever's been going on. Have you been moving through your spine up to this point? Have you explored that potential for more of your body to move, even though you're just moving your arms? How much of your body is really involved in that movement? Have a deep exhale. Let go into the ground. And then you're going to bring your hands back together, interlace them whatever way you prefer. And this time you're going to bring the hands again to the right ear to begin. And keeping your elbows as close together as possible, keep your heels of your hands glued. We're going to move and draw an arc over our head. So with our hands at our right ear, you're going to keep your palms to circle over your head like you're drawing a halo until they come all the way to the left ear. So it's really unusual movement to experience in your body. So your elbows may be staying centered above you, but your hands are moving and circling around the circumference of your head. Kind of like using a compass. And all of these little muscles out from the spine towards the shoulder blade you may be feeling. The rhomboids and lots of other little muscles that you don't typically notice. And if it gets a little intense for you, you can always take a rest, or if you wish, you can change the interlace of your hands at any point and then start from the left side and just begin the same arch. And as much as possible, you're keeping the elbows kissing together. If it's not good for you, you don't have to do that. And then slow it down. And then rest your hands on your chest or wherever feels good and have a break from that whenever you feel ready. And just notice as you were doing that again, did the spine become involved in your movement in any way? Is there movement in your pelvis? As we move our upper body, how does our lower body respond? Just notice any sense of greater space through the back of the body. And then gently bring your hands together again, and this time interlace your hands whatever way you prefer and bring them back into this neutral position. So it's like your hands are above your eyes or chin, depending whatever's comfortable for you in your body, and your elbows are kissed together as much as possible above you, so your elbows are touching. And now we're going to go old school again and think of a typewriter. And so a typewriter kind of goes back to the side, right and left, right? And I want you to think of this movement, and I want you to keep the hands and the elbows glued and moving as one, and just move them slightly off to the side. Your head and center line stays centered, and then move your hands and elbows to the other side. So again, you're lying down, so you're feeling all of this movement in the shoulders and also in the front of the chest. So just being fascinated about this kind of conveyor movement across and back, just like a typewriter carriage. And if at any point it's too much for you, please do take a rest or a break. Make sure that you're breathing as you do it. And then come back into center if you wish, have a rest or whatever feels good for you for a moment. Just breathing, noticing. And the next movement I'll explain while you rest. You're going to do the same movement, kind of moving across from side to side, keeping the rest of your body centered. And just notice, how does your spine, your pelvis, the weight difference between your legs respond to your movement as you translate from right to left with the forearms. And this time as you do it, you start by just doing that movement. I want you to also bring the elbows away and apart as you move to one side, and away and apart as you come through center to the other side. So if you thought of your elbows like butterfly wings, their wings are flapping open and closed as you go across and open and closed as you go back. So a very unusual movement again, but try and perceive this through your body, through your soma, and just be curious. So interlace your hands, bring them back into this neutral starting position, and as you just do the typewriter movement across from right to left first to kind of get that back in your body. And once you feel comfortable with that, doing the exact same thing, keeping the heels of the hand together, but just let the pulse of the elbows come away and apart like they're bouncing off each other as you move across and as you move through the center. So you can feel this kind of contraction and release in some of the muscles around the shoulders, the pecs, and the back of the body. And at any point, if you want to change your interlace of your hands, you can. So it can be a small movement. You don't have to go as far across right or left. It can just be a fraction. And then exhale, relax, come back to center. And let's just do a test move as our initial movement, and slowly in your neutral position, just come back to the first position where we just open our elbows out to the side, keep the heels of the hands glued together, and slowly bring the elbows back together. And just slowly doing this movement that we've come back to before, and just notice, how has it changed? So you're building an awareness of how your muscles move throughout this lesson, and as this fluency and this integration between brain and body happens, then the movement becomes easier. So just see if that is your experience. It might be a challenging area for you, and maybe it just needs a little more time and space and practice. And the next time you bring your elbows together, why not have a little rest? And just breathing in and out. And then you're going to bring your hands back into that neutral position, that interlace. Swap your fingers if you feel that's what you'd like to do. And we're going to do another last sequence lying on the floor. And you're going to slowly bring the hands, as you did before, upwards and downwards. So the hands are going as if they're going to touch above your head, and then the elbows are going to touch down towards your belly. So this arc that's going from belly button to crown, you could think of it that way if that's helpful. And as you do this movement, I want you to do this ringing action with your lower arms. So a ringing action is where you're turning whatever elbow, so at the moment your thumbs are facing you. I want you to turn so that a palm or the back of the hand faces your face, and then rotate so that the other hand faces your face. So calling this a ringing action, you know, if you're wringing out water from a towel. And so just turning the hands so that you see the fingers of one hand and then the fingers of the other. So you're just rotating, and the elbows are touching if possible, so that you have this full lower arm rotation. And now you're going to do this ringing action as you move the hands up and down. So as the hands travel above your head, the whole lower arm, and then as the elbows travel towards your tummy. So whatever sequence or flow, whether you're just ringing action, doing one movement up and one movement down, that's fine. Or if you're doing 2 up and 2 down, 2 rotations, so that your hands are changing, whatever one is closest to your face. So just exploring that for yourself, feeling how the whole of you can support you in that movement. What is happening through the back of your body. And then slowly bring that to neutral. Exhale, relax your arms down at your sides. Have a breath, just notice how you feel. And then slowly bring the hands back together for one last time, one last check. And you're going to slowly open your arms out to the side and slowly together. And now just notice how things may have changed for you. Bringing the elbows out and together. And I hope that you notice that there's a lot more space through the chest, the front of the body, and in the back of your spine. So just breathing into that, slow down the movement for one last one. And then let your arms go. Rest your arms at your sides, lengthen your legs, and just notice how your whole body feels. Breathing in, breathing out, and just allowing your whole body to drop more and more into the earth. Notice if it feels like the width across from your spine to your shoulder blades is wider. If the upper torso feels like it's more sunk into the ground. And sometimes when I explore these movements myself, especially the rotation through the spine, sometimes there can be little clicks and creaks through the rib cage. All of that is perfectly fine. We're moving with awareness and ease, and we're only going to where it's comfortable. So we're just allowing ourselves to listen to our body. So well done. And then slowly in your own time now, you're going to come to curl up onto one side and come to sit. And we're just going to explore some of these movements sitting. So you've kept the awareness of how your body has felt now, done the comparison of how it was now to finish with that movement and feel the difference. And then we're going to sit whatever way is comfortable for you, and you're going to bring the hands into the same position, whatever interlace. Heels of the hands together, elbows together. And with the hands in this neutral position, I want you to keep the hands still to begin, and then I want you to slowly just turn your head. So let your eyes be closed if that's comfortable for you, and just turn your head so that you're looking to the right and to the left. Just feeling this lovely rotation through your spine, so your elbows are away from you if that's sustainable for you. If not, drop them down into your chest so that they're resting against something. Nice. And then next move, you're going to slowly bring the hands up above your head and then the elbows down towards your belly. And keeping the eyes closed, just feel what you felt and experienced on the floor. Is it translating to the seated position? Do you feel an arch through your spine? Does your chin move to look up as you go one direction? And just notice how you're integrating the learning from the floor into the seated position. Or is it that you're feeling more of the spinal movement now as you're seated as opposed to lying down? So be curious. And then the last movement we're going to do is you're going to come back into neutral, and I want you to keep the elbows glued together as much as possible, and I want you to draw a circle. So kind of like when we did the arch over our head lying down, bring the elbows up and around as much as possible, keeping them glued together. And just notice how the whole of your body may be facilitating this movement. And then change the direction. So the elbows are drawing a circle. So it may be that your hands are staying more to the right or the left side as you draw the circle. If that's the case, then make sure you do the opposite, balance it out. Or if you can keep your hands in the middle, in front of your nose, and just draw circles with the elbows from here. And it's not as easy when you're sitting up. And then just let that go. And just let the arms go. Let your shoulders have a roll backwards. And wriggle them side to side, up and down. And then slowly take your arms out to the side, spread your arms out. And then slowly bring your hands down in front of your chest. And then let's reverse the movement, bring your hands up. And with your hands up this time, just have a reach into the air, move around with your arms in every direction, and just notice if you feel like there's a lot more space, hopefully, through your movement, through your spine. Your shoulder blades are a little freer, your chest is a little more open.